Welcome to the Daily Dose of Dopamine with Robert Cochran, PhD, and Lil Omi, the first follower, living and learning and soaking this stuff up all the time. My latest teacher is Phil Stutz. And me and a whole bunch of other people, thanks to Jonah Hill, making the documentary on Netflix, which I've now watched 4 times.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We were talking about his concept of radical acceptance.
Can I back you up for 1 second? That's what you said. It's amazing. Outsider point of view. What's amazing? What's amazing to you about Phil Stutz's approach? Because he's a therapist. There's lots of therapists out there. What really grabs you?
He really felt really strongly from the beginning of his practice that he needed to hand his patients, his clients, his patients, something to walk out with that they could do.
Yeah.
And so he created what he calls the tools, and he has so many of them, and they have a little catchy name. And then he actually has little drawings that demonstrate them. And as his patient, you can walk out with this little card to help, keep you in it.
I love that so much because right there, I think it's a lot of people's and myself too. Chief complaint with some therapy is you get to the end of it, you're like, well, I feel worse and I don't know what to do. And, I don't have anything practical, right, to take with me. And I think some therapists, well meaning, are so dogmatic about following what is the approach, they don't listen to the person.
Right. They tell them to talk. They ask them some open-ended question and get them to talk, but it's not giving them a chance to go deeper.
And so what? What are you going to do about it? Again, he always gets back to that. You said that in the last.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Right? You. Yeah, right. Yeah. He's not there to solve our problems.
Yeah.
He's going to kick it right back in our court.
He's there to help you see the acceptance of the truth. That's why this radical acceptance is so important, right? And it's clinically part of the acceptance of commitment therapy, which is very prominent at this point. The dialectic behavioral therapy, I think, as well. Those things are very much in the modern scheme of therapy. However, I mean, I haven't run into a lot of therapists who seem to use them, certainly not to the volume and very,
And there's this constant theme of positiveness running through all the stuff that he says, including asking us to have faith that there is something valuable in whatever the experience is, even if it feels like the worst thing that you cannot figure out how to get over. And I'm really looking forward to the next day 1 class because I got to go there.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how much overlap there is in Phil's work and ours, right? And again, what's so neat about this, it's not like we were trying to figure this out and then we got Phil's work. It's like, oh, let's start doing it. It's like, we've been doing this. And it's like, oh, we're already doing a lot of what.
Yeah. The vocabulary is a little different, but the concepts are.
What it does is, and then because of my background, I see how much of it is rooted in Buddhism and Taoism, right? And I go, okay, this is the same story told a different frame, right? With Joseph Campbell, with Buddhism, Taoism, with all of this stuff. It's like, this really has deep roots in it. And one thing I was interested in is Phil really painted a dark picture to start yesterday. Did you notice that?
Oh my gosh, evil was the first word.
Evil, straight up, that our institutions are crumbling. The things we rely upon are falling apart. And I loved what he said about, because if you're totally oriented toward the result and then always measuring by result instead of exploration and being present-minded, those result-oriented processes are they naturally are going to crumble because they don't have life in them. They don't have creativity. They're meant to fall apart. They're stagnant. Anything that isn't tapped into the Tao, the process, if you're not intricately moving and recreating and becoming, you're going to become stiff, rigid, and die. That's it. And that's an institution or a person.
Stiff, rigid, and die. Woof. Oh, we're at 5 minutes.
I was gonna say, what a great close.
Saved by the bell. Right. Thank you,
Bridget
Bob.
died. See you next time.
Right. You're so funny.